amenazas terrorísticas.
You were facing up to 6 months in jail
6 meses en la
and or a $2,000 fine.
de $2,000.
We are going to do probable
Vamos a leer
cause.
causa.
You have the right
Usted
to
tiene el
remain
derecho a
silent.
mantener silencio.
Anything you say can or will be used against you.
Wait, terroristic threat. That sounds like something out of a spy movie, but in Texas, it could mean threatening someone with serious harm. What do you think is pointing even a fake gun enough to land someone in jail for months? Drop your take in the comments.
Podría ser.
You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed
Uno
to
se le
you.
nombrará. Ok.
On February 9th,
El 9 de febrero de
2025,
2025,
an officer
un
was
oficial fue
dispatched
despachado
to a
a una
residence
residencia
in regards to a
en cuanto
disturbance with
a
a
un
weapon.
disturbo con un arma de fuego.
The officer met
El
with the
oficial se
complainant,
reunió
who
con
stated that
el
he has
denunciante,
ongoing
que declaró que
issues
tiene problemas
with his neighbor
siguen
over
con su
parking.
vecino sobre estacionamiento.
The complainant stated that today,
El
while
denunciante
in his
dijo que hoy,
driveway,
mientras estaban en la marquesina,
his nephew told him to get
su
down,
sobrino le dijo que se
after he
que bajara.
observed the
Después que observó
defendant
el acusado
point a rifle in
apuntando
the
un
direction
rifle
of the complainant.
hacia la dirección del denunciante.
The complainant
El
stated
denunciante
he feared
dijo
for his
que
life
temía por su
and
vida
ran to call the
y corrió a
police.
llamar a la policía.
The complainant's wife
La
filmed
esposa
the
del denunciante
defendant pointing
dijo
a
que el acusado
rifle at the complainant.
apuntando un rifle hacia
Officer observed the video
los
footage
oficiales
in
observaron
which
The courtroom's smoking gun. And in this case, it's not just eyewitness claims, there's footage showing the guy with a weapon. But here's the twist. It wasn't a real rifle. So, does intent still count? Keep watching.
the
la
defendant
cinta donde
is
el
wearing a white
acusado
tank top
tenía
and black
una
shorts
camisa blanca
while
y
holding what
con
appears to
pantalones
be a
cortos,
black rifle.
entonces tiene en sus manos algo que
The
parece ser
officer
un rifle.
observed the
El oficial
defendant facing
observó
it in the
el acusado
direction of
mirando
the
hacia la
complainant's
dirección
residence
la
and
residencia del
positioning himself
denunciante
to aim the
y
rifle.
posicionándose de manera de
The
apuntar
defendant
el rifle.
then
El
disposes
acusado
of the rifle
entonces
in a
se deshizo
nearby
del
shed
rifle
once
en
he
una
realizes
silla
he is being
cerca,
filmed.
ya cuando se da cuenta que lo están
The
grabando.
officer
El
next made
oficial
contact with the
entonces
defendant
hicieron
and
contacto
observed
la
the
segunda vez,
defendant wearing the same
observaron
clothes
al
as
acusado
in the
con la
video
misma ropa que
and
estaba
standing
en la
next to the
cinta
same shed.
y corriendo hacia la misma caseta.
The defendant was then detained.
El acusado entonces fue detenido.
The defendant
El
stated
acusado
he did not
declaró
have any
que él no
weapons
tenía ningún arma de fuego,
and then stated
ningún arma.
that the
Entonces,
rifle was
dijo que el
hidden
rifle,
Airsoft or not, if it looks like a deadly weapon and you act like you're using it, the law treats it almost the same. It's not about what it is, it's about what the victim believes it is.
inside the
estaba
shed.
ocultado dentro de la caseta.
The officer found the
Los oficiales
rifle
encontraron el
and
rifle
determined
y
it was
determinaron
an airsoft
que
rifle
era un rifle
similar
airsoft
style to
similar
a real assault rifle
a un
and
verdadero
can
rifle de
cause serious
y
bodily
podría
injury or
causar
death.
lesiones físicas muy serias o hasta muerte.
Mr. Salash, I'm going to
Salash.
find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward
Causas
with
para
the
seguir
case.
adelante con su caso.
I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness
Ya,
and not to be in possession of any
no tengo
weapons.
posesión de ningún arma.
Has he since moved? Because I'm going to order
Me han preguntado si se ha
200 feet
mudado
as well, that he not go near the complaining
a
witness.
cerca de
No, Your
200
Honor, he
pies.
still lives in the same
Vive
residence.
todavía en la misma
And the
residencia.
complaining witness actually
Y
lives across the street.
él, de hecho,
And it's a
vive
two, I
cruzar
actually
la
know,
calle.
it's a two-lane, I looked it up.
Y hay de
It's a
dos
two-lane street,
sentidos, una calle
The
de
opposite
dos
direction
sentidos
traffic.
con el tráfico que va.
The judge isn't playing. You violate a condition, you're done. And with immigration thrown into the mix,
I think it's
Pues una
probably
otra.
outside of the
Yo creo
200-foot
que está
boundary,
fuera, más allá
but
de
it's
esa
across the street.
I'm
de
ordering you
200
not
pies.
to
Te
go
ordeno que usted
200
no
feet of where
menos
this
de
person
200
lives
pies donde vive
or where this person works.
donde trabaja
I
esa
do not
persona.
want them living in
Yo no
fear.
quiero que vivan en temor.
You understand?
¿Entienden?
Okay.
Okay.
If I find that you violate these conditions,
Si
if I find that you put my public in danger, I will revoke your bond and I'm going to put you in
lo
jail.
voy a poner en la
I
cárcel.
don't know what your immigration status is, but if you're not in this country with permission,
Este país con
and you go to jail,
va a la cárcel,
immigration finds
encuentra.
you because they sweep it every day.
Ellos van
They
todos
will put an immigration detainer on
en la
you
inmigración.
and you will be stuck in there until this case is over with and then shipped off to immigration. If you were able to get out of immigration on an immigration bond,
Una
you
fianza de
best
aplicación,
behave. Because anything goes wrong,
Cualquier cosa.
you will also lose that immigration bond. And all that money you've paid
Todo ese dinero que has
will be
pagado
someone else's.
era de otra persona.
Do you understand?
¿Entiendes? Yes, yes.
Defendant's walking 4 now. But one wrong move, one ignored text from his lawyer, and that freedom could disappear in seconds. These aren't suggestions, they're strict condition.
You have a lawyer.
Tiene un abogado.
Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. But it is your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Paz, and he will tell you if and when you have to
Le
come
puede
back to
decir
court.
cuándo tú tienes que venir a la corte.
Thank you.
If he tells me he cannot get a hold of
Que no
you
se puede-
because you were playing games and you're not responding to his phone calls or text messages, likewise, I will
Llamadas.
revoke your bond.
También revoco su fianza.
You
¿Lo
understand?
entiende?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay.
Está
Do you
bien.
mind filing those conditions?
Absolutely.
For now, we will have you sign a reset with Ramona. After that, you will take a seat in the jury box. While we get your bond conditions, we will have you sign it.
Fianza, usted le
And
va a
after that, you'll be free to go.
Entonces, después de eso, está libre para irse. Okay.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for working with us and letting me have time to get out from immigration.
Thank you for coming. Right there.
That's all?
Yep. Great state of Texas.
Hey, I'm living.
I need to take. You ready? You are Glenn Rogers.
So,
Mr. Rogers, you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. We're going to basically find out what happened to see if there's enough to go on. Okay? Just hang tight with it, please.
On March 2nd, 2025, an officer and a canine were dispatched to a disturbance call for service of a male inside a McDonald's in Harris County, Texas. Dispatch advised the male walked into the store side of the business and was also causing a disturbance. The officer arrived and advised Precinct 6 The officer arrived and was advised of descriptors of the defendant. The officer asked a clerk if the male suspect was still past the doors of the McDonald's. The clerk advised the defendant was in the parking lot. The officer observed the defendant in the parking lot, and he hit a car passing him with the driver of the motor vehicle yelling at the defendant. The officer approached the defendant and told him what he was doing in the parking lot. He was messing with motor vehicles and people. The defendant stated he was not doing anything and walked away from the officers. The officer ordered the defendant to stop and not go anywhere. The defendant was walking different directions and advised the officer to get away or he was going to fight the officer. The officer grabbed the defendant by the arm and told him that he wasn't going anywhere. The officer attempted to detain the defendant and he started pulling away while the officer maintained a grip. The officer grabbed both arms of the defendant where he kept attempting to pull away. The officer was able to get the defendant to the sidewalk area, then against the building where the defendant was pinned against the wall. The defendant, with his right hand, grabbed the officer's stomach and started squeezing his belly area, then grabbed his duty belt and was tugging at it.
He said he grabbed his belly and started squeezing.
that's a route, Your Honor. That's a route. I'm not gonna make
Stop. Please don't. I've got a bunch of DAs here. Whatever you say, they're gonna start using it against you. It's just, that's the first for me where I've heard someone grabs his belly. Like what my kids do to me.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. That it didn't happen.
Is that it?
That's it, Judge.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Rogers, I'm gonna find that there's sufficient probable.
Here comes the next one, and the judge is sizing him up like a human lie detector. Ever wonder how judges make lightning fast calls on total strangers? It's not what you say. It's what your record says.
Cause to go forward with your case. Can I give you a lawyer today?
That's why I need one.